Well, we've heard from both camps there. Claude Goff, who's the manager of Charleville, and the co-manager of Father O'Neill's, Dave Colbert. It is Co-op Superstore's senior hurling final day in a windy Porky Queeve. Coming up later, it's Glen Rovers up against Blackrock. A first final between those two since the 70s. That's kind of hard to fathom considering the success they've had over the years, and I suppose how big they are as clubs. But before that, at 12:30, it's Father O'Neill's up against Charleville, and the winner goes on to contest Premier Senior Hurling next year. Ger Cunningham, this is a huge day for both clubs, and they've both been on a great run over the last couple of years, haven't they?
Yeah, they have, in fairness now. Both teams, even last year, Charleville were up senior, Oisin, and had a good season. Lost out to Glen Rovers after extra time by a point, and so they were very unlucky not to stay up senior. Father O'Neill's, on the other hand, have been steadily improving over the last number of years. With they've had underage success, under 21 success, intermediate, so they're on the rise, and I think they're the two best teams on form that have come through the season. One mightn't agree with that now with me, but I thought they've been the two best teams, and I think on paper this was the final that everyone was looking forward.
Ronan Kern, not to bring up hurtful memories from last weekend, but you know firsthand how good Charleville are, don't you?
Yeah, very very solid team, good throughout the defence and going forward, play a lovely brand of hurling, always find the man in the right position, and Ger's right, they're two very very solid teams, and two teams I'd say would have felt unlucky not to be senior this year, with I suppose Father O'Neill's winning the intermediate and Charleville doing so well in the senior last year and just getting caught at the end. It's hard to put much between them. Charleville, I think, have a bit more experience at this level. I think they're going well. They seem to have a full team out, no injuries. Jack Doyle is coming back from a bit of an injury, and it's hard to call, but I just fancy Charleville just to edge them out maybe.
Father O'Neill is missing a couple of big players, including Ger Mellerick. Now I know that they've dealt with that so far, but it's really in these crunch games where you miss players like that of that experience.
Yeah, 100%. He's a huge loss to Father O'Neill today, Oisin. He's a top class player. He's a top class defender, and you would imagine if he was there today, he'd be picking up Dara Fitzgibbon. And he's very very good. He's a great man marker, and that's a very specialised position to be able to play to man mark a man. And he would have been brilliant for them. But as you say, they didn't have him all year. They've worked without him, and I suppose it does put an awful lot of pressure on their other big player, Declan Dalton, who's obviously, he's their main inspiration, he's their main scorer, and they look for Decky to have a big game today.
Well, as we've already said, the wind is a dominating factor here. We're about to get underway. It's Father O'Neill's up against Charleville, and I think we've discussed big players from both teams, but we might have a look at the teams now, starting with Father O'Neill's. That's after Aaron Naveen. We're almost ready to go here. That's a look at the Father O'Neill's team and what talent they have. Declan Dalton really stands out. Hankard is a big man who can win ball and create things for others. Let's move on to Charleville and see what they've got locked and loaded. The name that jumps off that team sheet is Dara Fitzgibbon. 11 points last week, 9 of them from frees. Andrew Cagney helped himself to 2 goals. Well, it's a dry day, but it is a very breezy one. Ger, you were saying earlier on it is going to be a struggle run, and it's not exactly ideal for players out there, is it, that kind of breeze?
Yeah, very hard, and very important what you do with the wind more than anything, because a lot of times you see the ball floating in over the end line and taking shots from out the field where they maybe should play it into their inside forward line and stuff like that. So just be very careful, I suppose, when you're playing with the wind. Be very interested to see both sets of puck outs today as well, because they play them fast and they have plans with them, and very solid in each other's puck outs.
Well, a late change for Charleville coming in as Darren Butler. He replaces Cathal O'Carroll. They've got a change up front as well. Conor Buckley doesn't start. Number 19, Mark Kavanagh does. Father O'Neill's, as you are probably aware, in the Mayo style green and red, Charleville in the red. Here comes Billy Dunn. Billy Dunn looking to squeeze this one over into the Blackrock end, and he does, and it's going to be important for Father O'Neill's to build up some kind of lead, lads, because they've got that strong breeze at their backs in this first half, even though there is a swirl in it. It's not a straightforward breeze.
Yeah, excellent ball down the wing to Billy Dunn, and Billy, after losing the first ball, came out in front, and he was turned onto his left hand, and a difficult angle, put a lovely ball over the bar. That's a very good start for Father O'Neill's.
Cian Collins in goal for Charleville. He says his favourite TV programme is The Big Bang Theory. He gave that ball a bit of a big bang there, trying to sweep it up as Kevin O'Sullivan. But it's a Charleville ball.
With Jack O'Callaghan and Danny O'Flynn, they're very strong pairing. They'll be looking to them to take over from that position.
Dara Fitzgibbon hits it over towards the side, racing after it is Darren Casey. He's beaten to it. That's really clever, tidy play by Mike Mellerick, who's the joint captain. Then gives it away. Joe Mellerick tries to get it up into the hand. That's a nice stick pass to Kevin O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan down the line, juggled but kept by Billy Dunn. He's had a lively start. Cushion ball to Liam O'Driscoll. O'Driscoll fancies this, even though Rob Cullinane was running inside, and it turns out to be the wrong decision.
A good enough shot there, wasn't far off, but you see straight away now Father O'Neill's giving good balls into their forward line. Billy Dunn got a good one for the first score, and a good ball into the other corner there.
Father O'Neill's winning an awful lot of ball so far in this game. O'Driscoll inside, he was looking for Joe Mellerick, didn't find him. Kevin O'Sullivan manages to gather the ball, gets it under his spell. Thomas Mellerick. You can't move for Mellerick's in this team. Oh, Dalton has got a bit of time and a bit of space. Dalton takes a deflection and goes the wrong side as opposed to the right side from a Charleville point of view, but he was going for goal there, Ger.
That was a great chance. Jack Mead slipped as he was going to the ball. Decky got it on first touch onto his favourite left hand, was looking to maybe to break the net, but in fairness, Jack Mead got back and got a hurley to it, Decky has a chance now to put the ball out of the bar from 65. But just wondering, with this wind, Oisín and Ronan, would it be better, would Charleville be thinking of bringing a man back to try contain a score up to half time, because it is very, very strong, and Father O'Neill's have started really, really well.
Yeah, I suppose you want to start off with your normal setup and see how it goes. Like it becomes a bit negative if you bring someone back straight away. But to be fair, you notice with Father O'Neill's that over the last few games they're getting a lot of goals, and straight away there now they went for a goal again, and it's something under play that you see over the last few years.
It's a crisp strike from Dalton. A really good and solid score. And Ger, from a Cork fan's point of view, looking at Decky Dalton, it's maybe time to get excited, isn't it?
Absolutely, he's been on the scene for a number of years. He's had a fantastic last couple of years. He's got himself in good condition. He's been playing really well. He's getting up big scores. I think he scored 5-13 so far from playing the championship, which is a huge score. So they'll be looking for him to really get on the ball today. And like that now, if he's inside on 1-on-1, you need to give him the ball, Oisín. You need to feed him, because if they'll need to be ahead by maybe 5 or 6 points here, running, like to have a real chance of winning this in the second half.
Yeah, definitely. It's a 5 or 6 point win, and you see there now 1 or 2 balls wasted already in there, going over the end line, which is momentum sapping for the team, really.
Lovely pass from O'Sullivan. Liam O'Driscoll just about had enough, and Father O'Neill's extend their lead.
They looked a sharper team from the start, very hungry for the ball, giving good ball around the midfield, and so far Dara hasn't been on it. Here he is now.
Right on cue, Dara Fitzgibbon. And he wins the free, and that's what he can do when he runs at defences. In fact, it's gone the other way, I beg your pardon.
Sideline ball, yeah. I think he went over the sideline ball with the ball, so they need to get Dara in the game. He has actually started at centre forward, obviously with a roving role, but they need to get him in the game, and the puckouts won't be reaching him in the first half, so you'll be maybe thinking about, would he have more influence out towards the middle of the field, especially against that wind.
Yeah, you would think so, because there'll be more space there as well around the midfield, and he can burst forward from there. He might do more damage.
Nice line ball from Kevin O'Sullivan. It kind of went nowhere. Might fall for Declan Dalton. He's the kind of guy that even if it's loose around there, he can win possession. Jack Mead fires it long. Collected really well by O'Sullivan. That one hangs up like a kite in the wind and goes over. O'Sullivan had a strike a couple of minutes ago, went wide, but he got it right that time.
Great score from under the stand halfway line, turned onto his left hand. He's actually started really well. He was involved in the last play as well in the score. So off his left hand, put a great ball over the bar. So Father O'Neill's have really not have a chance the next 10 minutes in the game, if they could rattle on another couple of scores, they'll make it very hard for Charleville.
Dennehy let that one slip out of his hand but got away with it, the former Cork under 21. Father O'Neill's trying to win it in the middle. Kevin O'Sullivan. That's a beautiful ball. O'Driscoll's waiting. He has time and space.
Yeah, the
And that's a
cornerback
lovely
standing
strike.
off his man there a bit, giving too much room. It's actually interesting that with Kanturk in the game last week, Kanturk took a 5-1 start against the Breeze as well, so that's 2 games in a row now where Charleville started slowly. We'd looking at the warm-up and stuff like that, but it's too late now.
O'Sullivan is looking for Dara Fitzgibbon. Jerry, you've worked with him, you know how effective he can be in a game.
Yeah, no, he's lucky. He's obviously their main target, man. He's their main ball winner. He's their main scorer all year from especially from frees. So, you know, they'll be looking for Fitzy to get into the game. And I'm just, as I say, he's in the half forward line. It's the ball isn't going to be getting up there too often. So, just wondering again, would we be better off to move him around? But he's their inspiration. He's their leader. You know, if he's held, it'll be a big dent in their aspirations to win it.
Well, we're delighted to bring you this game via the Irish Examiner and of course the Cork County Board today. We appreciate that only a small number of fans can attend the game, and there's a lot of people at home watching this who would love to be here, who would normally be here, and we are aware of how big an honour it is to be here and how big an honour it is to bring you this game.
Yeah, it's fantastic to be here today like this. When both teams came out, it's very, I suppose what was noticeable was the silence that there's only a small number of people here. Honoured to be here to see what is potentially 2 great games. So looking forward to it. And Declan Dalton, as we speak, has come out to right on the halfway line. He is an expert sideline puck taker.
I don't know, do I agree with this, Charlie?
Well, we'll see now. Run if it goes over the bar. We certainly agree with it.
That's going to drop into the forward line, and you'd want Dalton under that, but even he's not that fast. But it does fall the way of Cullinan.
I suppose the thing I'd be on about there, you're bringing a fellow all the way out to midfield. It takes his time to get out there, it takes his time to get back. Like it's a lot of time wasting when you're with the wind, and it was, a shot to nothing.
I mentioned there that you'd want him under those, but he's not the only big man for Father O'Neill's. I mean, the likes of Hankard and Cullinan can win ball as well like that.
Yeah, he is their main man, to be fair. And you usually see when Father O'Neill's win, he has a big score totted up, and I think he's nearly more important to Father O'Neill's than Darren nearly is to Charleville in a way, because Charleville have a lot of good solid players around the place as well. But interesting how they both go today.
O'Keefe with an important hook there, and now it's hoovered up by Mellerick. Mark O'Keefe on it again. You feel like a hero in this kind of conditions, especially when the breeze is with you when you clear a ball like that. The wind gets behind it now. Coming down the wing is Jason Hankard. Goalkeeper is going to get to that. Dalton tried to close him down, but he did get the puck away. Neat turn by Fitzgibbon. Now can he escape the shackles? Mellerick not letting him go. Fitzgibbon, he can score from these kind of angles, and in this kind of breeze he's up against the gale. It just tailed off, although I'd like to have seen that again. If Hawkeye was here, that might be different. Yeah,
it looked funny when it left the hurley to be going over the bar, but it just, again, that's the wind, that's the blustery wind that's there. It just tailed off, and as it was going over the bar, it just tailed outside the post.
Billy Dunn falls, but it does come the way of Dalton. He's got goal in mind again. He's wrestled to the ground by Meade. It has to be a penalty, and it is.
And straight away there, straight at goal, drove at it like it was one thing in his mind, and he's so dangerous.
And also the full back run is going to be on a yellow card here now straight away, I would imagine. So, now feed Dalton every ball you get, because if the full back is on a yellow, he has to be very, very careful.
Going back to Dara's one there, I would love to see him actually take that on with pace. That's his game, really. And it took a shot there that was, maybe 3-4 out of 10 chance of getting, and now they go down the other side of the pitch and get a penalty shot.
Looks to me like Meade has got a yellow card. There's only one place that Decky Dalton is thinking of putting that, and that's the back of the net.
Yes, he has some belt off the ball, Oisin, and if he hits this, if he connects properly with that wind, I think there's only one
Collins
result.
Against Dalton. Dalton! Oh, wonderful!
It's a great start, and it's always great to get a goal with the wind. You feel like you've done your bit there now, and nice lead there, 8 points straight up.
Yeah, it's it's such a big part. Jack Doyle, who has been a big player for Charleville, we've 10 minutes gone the game, he hasn't touched the ball. I just think from Charleville at this stage now need to be maybe curtailment and get into half time, but maybe 6 or 7 behind. But if O'Reilly's can tack on another couple of scores, it'll be a huge advantage for them.
Gavin Kelleher shovels it back inside to Daniel O'Flynn. O'Flynn has a look up. They need something.
Missed it.
But they haven't got it.
And that would have been a great point just to settle him down, and you're talking about Jack Doyle as well there now. To be fair to him, he was out with a hamstring injury for 4 weeks. It's hard to know if he's fully over or not. I know he was taken off in the game last week as well. Be interesting to know if he's fully fit.
The Meloricks combining once again. Dalton's going to trying to get under this one. He'll appeal for another penalty. He won't get it on this occasion.
It's going to be very tough on Mead in there in the full back line on the yellow card now.
Yeah, that's the dangerous about Tom Mellerick. You know, sometimes you hit a nice ball in, but with this wind swirling about, like it looks as if maybe it was overhit, but he only hit that very easily to try to hit Dalton inside.
Kevin O'Sullivan. Mead holding up Dalton again. He did well there, to be fair, Mead. He was very strong. Keane Collins has to be careful. Dalton almost pickpocketing him, but he got away with it. Kicked on by the man who's come up from fullback, Sean O'Connor. They can press right up because Charleville aren't getting in behind. O'Callaghan does find Cagney. Cagney pursued by Owen Motherway. Cagney feels he has no choice but to go for it, and his teammates look around and say, look, you had options, you could have popped it inside. I think that's a third wide, I beg your pardon, for Charleville. They need a score to go over, they need one soon.
Yeah, and it seems like a bit of desperation there now at that stage. Rather than find his man, he just turned and shot. He was claiming that the defender got a deflection and was out for 65.
Still, Mark Kavanagh had gone through the middle and he was wide open, and he looked a nice 30-yard pass in on top of the D would have given him an opportunity, but as you can taking a shot from a difficult angle, that's as you say, 4 out of 10 shot.
Yeah. And to be fair to Charleville, that usually is their game, find the best end, but I wonder is a bit of desperation now seeing 8 scores on the board against 0.
Trying to pick it up now is Andrew Cagney. Trickles back to the goalkeeper. They'll call for the free there. Cagney was hit and it's it. Free to Charleville. They really have to nail this one.
Yeah, Cagney won the ball again and turned into goal, and he was surrounded by 3 defenders and went down with a seems like we got a belt of the hurley, built in a helmet, but I think he's okay, and this gives a chance for Fitzy to register their first score after nearly 30 minutes of play.
Really stiff breeze.
Yeah, there was a few good shots there, but you could see him just tailing off in the end. It's really, really strong now, to be fair. They're coming back into it. That is the thing. And if they could sneak a goal maybe in the first half, just chip away a few points, just stay in it. Like you saw in the game last night with Blarney, they had a big lead. Castleines came into it a bit more, and the other team starts thinking about it. Like just stay in the game is basically the thing in the first half.
You guys did the smart thing today. You're sitting on my right side. Last night I used Mark Landers as a kind of a windbreaker. No such luck today. Ger, what do you think is being said in that Charleville huddle? Because although they are getting shots away, they are 7 down.
Yeah, I'd say from going what Ronan was saying there, okay, like O'Neill's have got 6 scores and Charleville had 1, but they've had 6 wide, so they've settled into the game. As if they can hang in there now, there's 15 minutes to half time. If they can get the next couple of scores and just hang in there and be anywhere within 5 or 6 points at half time, I think would be successful. The danger is the full back is on a yellow card. I think Father O'Neill's are beginning to try to play the ball into Dalton. If he gets a chance, there's potentially another goal there. So I think at this stage, I'd say for Charleville it's curtailment, trying to get into the game, get a couple of scores. Father O'Neill's looking to get a couple of scores to build on their lead.
Goalkeeper goes long. Father O'Neill's yet to score since the goal from the penalty. That came after 9 minutes. Decky Dalton popping it over. Jason Hankard tries to create something. At least Charleville have stopped conceding scores. Cagney. He's looking down the line for Kavanagh. Doesn't find him though. Father O'Neill's wanted to take it quickly. They weren't allowed.
Yeah, again, a ball over the line. Decky Dalton he had come out the field, so he's in the vicinity of the area for this one. He didn't come out especially to take it, but again, like he's 85, 90 metres outside, like, you know, but with the wind advantage, you know,
yeah,
he's quite capable of putting this
over.
Capable, like.
He's a great striker of the ball, and as you said, he was out there, so it's not too bad. It's not wasting time.
It's going to drop.
Great touch.
That's really well taken. Out the field they go, into the hand of Finbar Cagney. Good run by Cagney, nice cushion pass.
A lot of space.
Yeah, this is more like Charleville now. This is working the ball up from the full back line. Cagney now has got a couple of goals last week.
Cagney up against Motherway. Squeezes it back to Kavanagh. That's a
good
really
score.
good score.
Yeah. That'll settle them down a bit, you know, that score. They worked it well from the full back, giving a great touch and worked it all the way up the pitch and got a score. And as George says, that's their style of hurling.
An excellent point, their first from play. Father O'Neill's have been quietened a little bit by those Charleville backs. Their work rate is up.
And you'll notice after the water break there now, Charleville kind of came into it a small bit there now, just deadened the play a small bit, like, and now they seem to have better control in it.
Thrown forward, not literally. Kicked forward now by Finbar Cagney, but into the hand of Mark O'Keefe. O'Keefe tried to flick, that didn't work. It's a lovely ball across to Jack Doyle, but it beats him, and Joe Mellerick is going to
I
take
think Jack
that in
is
hand.
struggling. He's holding his leg from the very start there. You can see him reaching down a few times. I don't think he'll last this game.
O'Driscoll
He's
couldn't
gone.
get it into the hand. Jack O'Callaghan controls it.
Yeah, Jack Buckley has really started very well for Charleville centre back. He got a great block there a few minutes ago. Seems to be dominating the game there for him. He's settled into the game very well. He's a big player for Charleville, and they need him to go well.
Cagney bounces it inside for Gavin Kelleher. Might break the way of Daniel O'Flynn. O'Flynn does well with it. Back it goes to Gavin Kelleher.
It's a wide ball again.
And it's the 7th wide.
Bad wide. And they're all on that side of the post as well. It's very easy to say play the right post, but they all seem to be drifting out there.
I see Ronan, Jack Doyle looks to be in trouble. He was carrying his left hand onto his left hamstring there in the last few minutes. So straight away they're looking for a substitution, and this is a big blow running for Charleville. He's one of their big players, and
he really would be probably the closest thing to Dara Fitz they have. You know, he's a really solid player, really fast, really dangerous. Maybe he should have taken last week off.
That's it's very disappointing. You know, the lads have been waiting all year to play. You get to a county final, and injuries prevent you from playing your.
Well, Castleline went after a minute last night. Heartbreaking for Castlelines. They may or may not have won that game. Blarney, credit their performance. They were excellent, but it didn't help Castlelines.
No, it was a big blow. It was a big blow. It was a big blow to him, like, you know.
Cathal O'Carroll comes in for Doyle. Cathal O'Carroll had been named to start. He's now being injected in. O'Carroll with the stick pass. Oh, that's a lovely take by Daniel O'Flynn. They'll hope to avoid an 8th wide. That's a lovely strike. They finally got the measure of this breeze.
Yeah, a lot better play now. They really have come into it since the last water break, or since the water break. A few good moves up the pitch. Probably should have got another 1 or 2 points, and now there's only 5 points in it with that big wind. Like, so be happy enough if they keep it at half time.
Yeah, that's the 2 great scores, and it's their style of play again. They're beginning to get into their game, and the way they play it. And Jack Buckley has been a big part of that for me.
Liam O'Driscoll turning and twisting, letting this one go. And they get their first score since Decky Dalton's penalty goal.
Michael O'Flynn is standing a long way off Liam O'Driscoll. He needs to get a lot tighter on him. He's a fast player. He obviously can finish. He needs to get up tighter on him. He's too far away.
Finbar Cagney has to go off the stick. That's a brilliant dispossession. Great work from Andrew Cagney. Gets it inside. It's Mark Kavanagh. Mark Kavanagh has already got 1 point. He's looking to make it 2. This one goes to the near side and wide.
You just want to see Darren Moore in the game.
Yeah,
don't you? He's not in it at all.
He's out wing forward, and they're struggling kind of without him to get him on the ball. And as you say, Liam O'Driscoll's got 3 points so far, and Michael O'Flynn will want to get a lot tighter, because O'Driscoll, once you get your eye in, you know he has his eye in at this stage now, so you'd want to be very tight to him, like to keep the score down in the. Because so far he's had 3 from play and 1 wide, so he's had 4 shots at goal.
The wind has just got an awful lot stronger. It's like when you have a fan and you turn it up. It just like in a second it changed. Trying to get it into the hand is Jack O'Callaghan. I thought there was a whistle from the ref there, but it's just the whistling of the wind around the stadium. It is Charleville's ball.
Really good play by Jack there. He's a really good player. He gets on a load of breaks and links the play very well, and they'll lead him to have a good second half and finish off this first half strongly, because he's a big player for him, and they just need to get a grip in around there.
They're aiming at Darren Casey. Line ball, Father O'Neill's.
They've moved Danny O'Flynn in centre forward there now, looks like.
Yeah, the balls have stopped going into the forward. The first half, before the water break, they were getting on to play into Dalton, but that seems to have dried up a bit. So they'll be looking to get him back into play.
Liam O'Driscoll, was he pushed over? Referee says he was.
He's under pressure there with Liam O'Driscoll. He's just a bit too pacey for him. You know, maybe they think about switching corners or something like that, but then you're in the other corner, then you've Billy Dunn, who'd be one of their more well-known players and a good finisher.
And normally at half-time on county final day, we'd be honouring the Jubilee team of 25 years ago. That's Napirshik this year. Sean O'Halpine was on that team as a minor. Here's Declan Dalton going to guide this one over, is he? Yes, he is. But it just makes one feel that bit older, doesn't it?
It certainly does, because we lost that final actually 25 years ago to Piershig. They beat us in a replay, so it's an awful pity that the lads don't get a chance to get to walk out on the pitch today and have a day out again, you know.
Well, Joseph Blake told me it would be nice to talk about them since they can't be here, and it is nice to mark them. And Roland, of course, you went on to play a lot of hurling with Sean Ogan, that dominant Cork team.
Yeah, to be fair, Sean's a class act, like everyone knows that, you know, brilliant player and a brilliant teammate as well, and like he'd do anything on the pitch for you and off the pitch as well, like, so great to see him there.
Not the only good player in that Napirshik team, and unfortunately not all of them are still with us, and we're thinking about them today. And now the ball bounces into the goalkeeper, Cotton, smacked out by Cian Collins. Great catch. A Brian Corcoran-esque on the knees hit of the ball. There comes to Kevin O'Sullivan, although Corcoran could probably put it over from there in the middle of the pitch on his knees. It's not off the knees, it's not from the middle of the pitch, but it'll do for Father O'Neill's. That's a really tidy finish.
That's a good score from Rob Cullen. Good ball into him, and in these conditions every score is vital. Every point that you get will have a huge role to play today, so very good score.
And very interesting as well, they're leaving the cornerbacks free for the puck outs, leaving them have them and pushing out the pitch, so they'll have a lot more bodies out here. Not a bad tactic, really.
The foot race is going to be won by Sean O'Connor. Brilliant hook. The work rate is notably up from Charleville from, we'll say, the first 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, they're certainly working hard. Like at this stage now, you know, they're 8 points behind. 5 minutes to go before half time. As you say, if they can hold it to a couple of scores and hold it even at this level, they'd be nearly happy enough. Like, to get into half time to regroup.
And they have been creating chances as well. They've hit 7 wides, and as I say, on any other day, most of those would probably have gone over. Father O'Neill's not done in a scoring sense for the first half. They'll hope. Here's Kevin O'Sullivan. He's already got one. Dalton is off to his left. He goes himself.
Oh, he got it.
And it's a brilliant save from Cian.
Brilliant save.
Should have passed the ball, lads. There was one of them there last night as well in yesterday's game. Declan Dalton was on his own there in acre space. Hand pass over, goal on. I can't understand why fellas thought of that, because he had to see it.
But Kevin O'Sullivan went in. He started really well off his left hand as well, which is probably his good side. Took a great shot, but in fairness, we've got great credit to the goalkeeper. Cian Collins made a marvellous save. Went off the top of the hurley out over 65. The chance for Dalton to tap on a point now again, but as Ronan said, like the pass was on here, and Declan Dalton from at the edge of the square, you'd be fancying his chances to put the ball in the net.
Well, Billy Dunn turned around and gave out to Kevin O'Sullivan, because, as you said, Dalton was free on the left as he ran in. They do get something out of the attack. Dalton adds
That's
another
twice in
score
a
to
row
his
now,
tally,
the
1-3 now.
last two attacks that Father Neil.
Interestingly enough with Declan Dalton, he has scored 1-3, but it's all come from place balls. Would you be happy enough with that from a Charleville point of view if he only scores from place balls, if that makes sense?
Yeah, look, you're looking for your big player to stand up on a day of a county final, and again he hasn't got too much ball in there. Like the ball he's got, he was pulled down for the penalty. Again, it's very difficult to find a man bang on today because this wind is going to be very difficult. But it's Liam O'Driscoll here who's down. He ran into Michael O'Flynn, who is standing off him quite a bit, and he needs to, as Ronan said earlier on, he has flagged that one. He needs to be closer because every score, I think Charleville will be hoping 3 or 4 minutes to go. They need to either get a few scores themselves or keep this at 9 points.
Ball got away from Rob Cullinan there. Straightforward pull on the ground. Daniel O'Flynn chases after, puts pressure on John Barry. Mark Kavanagh. Kelleher couldn't make it his, but his teammate does get there. That's Andrew Cagney. Falling over it is Jack O'Callaghan. Gets away from Dara Fitzgibbon. Good lift by O'Keefe.
That's a good ball.
O'Keefe is trying to find Billy Dunn. Billy Dunn kind of tripped himself more so than anything else. Can't keep it in play. Well, he put it wide, so it's a good end result for Charleville.
I think that looked to 65 to me. I think Billy Dunn, he just blocked the ball from going over the line and hit it off the cornerback's leg, but he got away with it. The umpire waved wide.
O'Keefe looking again for Billy Dunn. Good defending. He got out in front and guided it into the path of Alan Dennehy, the joint captain, or the captain I should say. They're keeping this one low to Cagney. If he can turn, there's going to be danger. Cagney trying to get past Motherway. He'll just try and take the point, and does.
Yeah, man running off his shoulder there again, but took the point, got the score. Noticeable there that Billy Dunn is limping around the place after that last one. The second ball that came in, he couldn't fight for it. He's bandaged on the leg as well. Great catch.
Cullinan, Dalton. There's a man inside there, but Dalton will go himself. I think Paddy McMahon will be frustrated because he was in on goal if that had been delivered to him.
Still great again. We spoke about Declan Dalton getting on the ball. Lovely ball into him here from Rob Cullinan. Decky came out, controlled it really well, and off his left hand, his favourite left side, turned and put it over the bar. Good score.
Yeah, no, the cornerback got the ball as well. They're leaving him have it, which is interesting if they do that in the second half with the wind.
Cagney after it again. Motherway shadowing him all the way. Fitzgibbon is there if the break falls his way. Here is Dara Fitzgibbon. Thought about shooting, but then was closed down. Fitzgibbon in close quarters.
No, but that one, thought it was good defending.
You would take the defender's point of view, I suppose, alright, Ronan, but
Like seeing good defending.
yeah, I thought Fitzy was fouled. That was a high tackle on him. 13 minutes gone now, nearly coming up to half time. Important free for Fitzy now to put it over the bar.
Tough free as well.
Tough free against the wind, yeah. But
well, he's been part of big wins against the Breeze already this year in the Fitzgibbon Cup UCC. Mark Coleman obviously part of that as well, and he won a county title with Blarney last night. That's a good score from Fitzgibbon.
A lot of balls there, they just keep on carrying in with the wind, so like you think it's going to land and it drags on another 10-15 yards. Hard to judge. Declan coming out again.
Sean O'Connor lets this one off to Decky Dalton.
if he gets this, lads, there'll be some score because that grass is cut really, really tight. I've seen him put the ball over from this position before, so it'll be a magnificent score if he can put it over.
Right on the Charleville bench as well.
Gets plenty on it. It's going to drop. Drops in favour of red rather than red and green. Good take by Darren Butler. He's dispossessed by Rob Cullinan, and they get it back again. Butler is down. Charleville effectively playing with 14 at the moment. Picking it up is Paddy McMahon, won the break really well. Cian Collins stays cool under pressure. I think we can argue that Collins has made the save of the year so far. Here's Joe Mellerick into the path of Mark Kavanagh. Bit of a blind hand pass, but it is picked up by Daniel O'Flynn. He's dispossessed though. Now it's
Another man in 30
Dalton.
yards of space inside now. No one's picked him up, centre forward.
50 seconds left for play. Dalton. Dalton took
that's
that
a
one on, and
magnificent
Dalton
score.
gets a wonderful score.
He's a brilliant striker of the ball. Like, he has to be up there with Hoggy at this stage, and just pure striking of the ball.
Magnificent score. We were given out because one of his teammates had gone into the 21-metre line there all on his own, but Decky kind of took it on himself, ran across the 65-metre line and off his left hand put a great score over the bar. That's put him out now there to 9 points ahead now at this stage.
So Decky Dalton scores a point either side of Charleville's last score. 14 plays 11 when you make the conversion. That's a good win of the ball by Jack Mead. Can Charleville get something before half time? Here's Jack O'Callaghan. They won't panic because they will have a strong breeze behind their backs in the first half, and I appreciate we're talking about the breeze an awful lot, but it is such a big factor in this game. Finbar Cagney. Away it goes from Gavin Kelleher. Fitzgibbon policed very well by Mellerick, but he might get it on the break. Fitzgibbon taking on Mellerick. Down the line it goes to Casey. Casey with a bit of a heavy touch now. It's swept up by Mike Mellerick. And that's it. It's half time. And it's Father O'Neill's who lead by 111, 2-5 points. Ronan Curran, what have you made of it so far?
Yeah, Father O'Neill really delighted with it. They're playing all the hurling. Very sharp. Even when Dara got the ball there at the end, there must have been three or four Father O'Neill's men around the ball. They're winning it back there. They're playing good ball in rather than lashing it into the full forward line, getting ball into Declan Dalton, Billy Dunn, and very impressive so far. Charleville won't be happy, but as you said, they've a big win in the second half, so they'll have to. They know they haven't played yet, but as we said, it's very hard. So it'll be interesting to see how they come out now in the second half.
Sure.
Yeah, in fairness to Father O'Neill's, they came out, they routed the blocks very quickly, got on the scoreboard, played really, really well. I think they've worked hard in their forward line to stop the Charleville kind of the support play, the running game that Charleville like to play. I think that's down to the O'Neill's forward line have been really, really good. They'll be happy. They scored 12 times. Charleville had 5 with 6 or 7 wide, so still a lot to play for. Charleville won't be, it's tough to come back from 9 points down a county final, but it'd be interesting. They need now to start really well just after half time. They need to get the first couple of scores because if they don't, they could find this game going away from them. Okay,
Jens, I'll be back to you in just a moment. It is half time in the Co-op Superstores Senior A county final here in a windy Porky Queeve. How many times have I mentioned the wind now? More than Elton John and the song Candle in the Wind, I think, at this stage. But it's such a dominating factor. It's a breeze that will be behind Charleville in that second half, but will they be able to blow their way back into this game? We'll find out. It is 111 for Father O'Neill's, 5 points for Charleville. We'll be back in just a second. Welcome back to Porky Queeve. It is a very, very windy county final day. Later on, it's Glen Rovers against Blackrock. That's in the Premier Senior Hurling Final. That will be quite a belter. Right now, it's the Senior A decider between Father O'Neill's and Charleville, and it's Father O'Neill's who lead by 111 to 5 points. Ronan Curran, they know in the second half they won't be scoring as free-flowingly as they talk about playing against that breeze.
Start the game, you have to think about bringing someone back, and at this stage of the game with that kind of a win now, they definitely either be thinking of bringing their half forwards back out the pitch to kind of crowd it out, or bringing it maybe a sweeper back and stuff like that. But Charleville really have to up their work rate in the forward line. Like Father O'Neill's there in the forward line in the first half were on every single defender coming out with the ball. They didn't give them time to settle on anything, especially for the first 20 minutes. Now it's hard to keep that up for the full game or even a full half, but they'll really have to really put the pressure on the lads with the ball, because as a back coming out against that wind, it's very hard to work the ball out, and you don't want to be just striking it up because you won't get any distance on it. So it's all about the forward line now and working hard and making it hard for the Father O'Neill's defenders, just like they did.
Ger, what about Charleville? How do they make sure they get the maximum use out of this win? Because as the old saying goes, the win doesn't win you games, but it certainly can help.
No, it doesn't, and I think O'Neill's will be aware of that. They've put themselves in a great position to go on to win the game. Big thing for me is Darragh Fitz hasn't been in the game, and he is a huge player for Charleville. He's their, I said earlier on, he's their inspiration. He gets all their scores. He's been kind of peripheral on the side. He's playing wing forward. I'm just wondering on a day like today, I think you definitely need him inside in the centre to get on the ball. Whether that's putting him up midfield in the hope that he can come through from midfield onto the breaking ball, give him a bit of freedom. But I think they do need the early scores, in fairness to him, because Cian Collins made a brilliant save in the first half. Jack Buckley was outstanding in the first half. I thought he stood tall when. So for Charleville now, there's big questions to be asked there. It was a tough ask to play in that wind, against that wind in the first half. And sometimes 30 minutes gone, you're not in the game that much. All of a sudden now it's cold, it's blustery, it's windy. It's a big ask now, but they definitely need the first couple of scores to give them a chance to get into this game.
Yeah, the one thing I will say from the game last week as well, I see James O'Brien is coming on here. He did well when he came on the last day. He got a few scores, and there was a Tim Haw as well come on, and their bench is very strong as well. So that will stand to them. So they have plenty of scores there. Just need to stick with it, try and get a good start. You never know. They probably need maybe a goal in the second half, just to get back in it, but they're well capable of doing it.
They do have players, Father O'Neill's, who could come out the field and win ball, and that can be very useful in the second half, because they're good at those kind of overlapping runs and creating space and creating options.
Yeah, I suppose one of the questions they'll ask, I suppose, in the second half, will Declan Dalton see too much ball inside of full forward? Yeah. Is he an option to bring him out? Is
it almost pointless in conditions like this having him in full forward?
It's a fair, we were just talking about it here. It is a fair situation. Like your best players inside full forward, you're playing against a gale of wind. Would you be better off to try maximise bringing him out the field, even centre forward or even centre field? He'd be an excellent sweeper as well, because if he gets on the ball, he'll be able to deliver it. So I think they'll probably start him inside at full forward in the second half, but something that they may consider at some stage during the second half.
Charleville gone up very early here, lads. Not a few minutes left before half time. They're very eager. That's a good sign, I suppose. But I'd agree with you with Decky. If the ball isn't going in, you have to push him out the pitch. Try and get him under a few puckouts or something like that, and maybe win a free. Some might panic on the ball and stuff like that. Win a free, waste a bit of time and stuff. So be interesting what they do with him.
Well, Charleville are ready to go. They're out on the pitch already for this Senior A Co-op Superstores hurling final. It is half time. It's 1-11 to Father O'Neill's. It's 5 points to Charleville, but as we say, there will be a stiff breeze behind Charleville in the second half. Father O'Neill's now joining us. I guess Charleville want to get this going again, Ronan, because it's so cold, and of course they're not allowed into the dressing rooms.
Yeah, it's a funny situation. We've had it all year, but especially today, today we're freezing up here, with coats and jackets on and stuff like that. So I suppose players just want to get out there and get going again. And Charleville, as I said, will be looking for a big start here. The first few scores, first 5 minutes of this game can tell how to start out. Decky's gone back in full forward.
Well, here we go. Picking it up as Mark O'Keefe. It's windy and it's cold. We're lucky. All we have to do is hold the microphones. Aoife beside me writing stats has to do all that with a freezing hand. Here's Darragh Fitzgibbon trying to get into the game straight away in the second half. He creates the option. Have they created the score? No, they haven't. It's an 8 wide for Charleville.
Yeah, I think O'Neill's again have set up fairly standard as well. Again, we were wondering, will they bring someone back to when they have that advantage now at this stage to play a man in behind the half back line, but they've started conventional in the second half.
That's a fantastic win of the ball by Fitzgibbon. Fitzgibbon racing forward. He doesn't give up on anything. He'll bring other players into the game, and that's what he does. He nearly creates a vortex where defenders get around him, and it just creates space for the other red shirts.
Yeah, I think he was a bit frustrated in the first half, so I think he'll be trying to get on the ball in the second half, and Charleville will be looking for him to get on the ball because he's crucial to their chances,
On Motherway. Father O'Neill's have a man down at the moment, so he'll require some treatment.
I think from the early play there, I think they're fairly conventional, but the corner forward for Father O'Neill's was coming out the pitch and maybe create 4.5 forward line. 1.5 hours might drift back and stuff like that. They might start off with that and see how they get on, and then if they need to bring someone back in behind the centre back, they might do that.
Colette Garvey, the medic, is in to give a bit of treatment to Mark O'Keefe.
Another big player for Father O'Neill's all through the last couple of years. Played with him with Killy, had a big experience of playing, has 3 county medals in his pocket from over the last number of years at senior level. So a very important player for them. Has gone back centre back in the absence of Dan Harrington, who was injured. Mark was would be more well known as a midfielder, but he has settled in really well and has done very well for them.
Dickie Dalton got 1-5 for Father O'Neill's in the first half. Can they get him onto the ball an awful lot in the second half? That'll be the big question. That's a good ball down the park, caught very well by Paddy McMahon. Paddy McMahon looking for options but couldn't get through. Jack O'Callaghan, he's pickpocketed. Liam O'Driscoll, 3 points in the first half, chasing after Paddy McMahon. It's intercepted by Michael O'Flynn. Nice movement out of defence from Charleville. Cathal O'Carroll breaks kindly. Dara Fitzgibbon has a pop, looking for the first score of the second half, and he's got it.
And played the ball very well out of defence there. You know, they could have just belted up the field, but 3 or 4 hand passes, bought out and got a good ball into the forwards.
Yeah. That'll be good for Fitzy. First score off from play. Did well to get the breaking ball and turned with a good dummy onto his left side. That'll be good for his confidence.
James O'Brien is in for Charleville for the second half. Ball breaks to Joe Mellerick. Barry looking for Dalton. Dalton is so strong. Mead on a yellow card, remember, has to be careful, but did well to hold him up initially. Dalton does get the ball in hand, does get the shot away, and does get the score. What a point, 1-6 for him now.
Excellent ball in, like again, used his strength to hold off Jack Mead, and the other cornerback came in to mark him as well, but turned back out and off his left hand. That's an inspirational score for Father O'Neill's.
I know that defenders get very frustrated when their forwards score, but there wasn't much more Mead could do. It just goes to show how good Dalton is. Here's Fitzgibbon. Daniel O'Flynn can't draw this one back in. It will go wide, or will it? Yes, it will. And you can see by how much those posts are shaking.
Yeah, look, just going back, that's the difference there. Now, Dickie Dalton put over a great score up the other side of the pitch, and you'll need ones like that in the second half. You come down and you miss one, that was probably an easier chance for Danny O'Flynn. Now, there's no easy chances today, but you notice there Rob Cullen has caught a nice few balls there in the half-forward line for Father O'Neill's today, and working very well, been very impressive. Don't
forget, a little bit later on we've got the Bond Secures Premier Senior semi-final between Nemo Rangers and Duhallow Live, and then later this evening Castlehaven against St Finbarrs. Daniel O'Flynn taps it over, and some of the mentors are jumping up and down on the sideline, and unlike the first half, they're doing it in joy rather than frustration.
I think they're just trying to get him going, really, to be honest. Danny's had a nice few shots in this game, in from midfield, gone in centre forward, but he's had around 5 strikes a goal. I think he's got 2 or 3 points at this stage,
Maybe they're just trying to stay warm, lads, because it's absolutely freezing. Charleville through Daniel O'Flynn again. O'Flynn with the 2 in a row.
They're great scores. They come right into the game now. The first couple of balls in the second half, they've won the balls from the puck out and turned it over and laid out a short little pass off to Daniel O'Flynn, who's got in centre forward now and has got 2 really good scores. Yep. And all of a sudden now you're back to a 7-point game.
It's interesting, since O'Keefe went out with a head injury there. Now he's got 2 scores since that, so hopefully he's okay.
O'Keefe over the top, waiting for it was Dennehy. That's a really good take from James O'Brien.
I think that was a Father O'Neill's ball, was it?
O'Brien?
Linesman was unsure.
Fitzgibbon.
Fitzgibbon
has a look up, puts it on the stick, strikes it off the stick, as you can see. Doesn't catch it. Well, stumbled in by the goalkeeper, Colin Sloan, and Charleville get a lucky bounce, quite literally.
You hate to see it, to be fair. Joe will probably be able to comment on it a bit better than me now, but you hate to see it.
Now, on a day like today, on a cold day, he waited for the ball to hop. Maybe would have been better off to come off the line. So even if you did make a mistake, you had a bit of room to manoeuvre. But he just ball came in, hopped, just missed the catch, and the ball just dribbled over the line. That's given Charleville some lifeline now at this stage.
Well, it happens for goalkeepers, as you know, Ger, but it's unfortunate that it's happened on county final day. He just has to put it out of his mind, I guess.
Yeah, the next ball now is absolutely crucial, because obviously when something like that happens to you, it plays in your mind, and you know, he might not get a ball up for the next couple of minutes. So the next ball that here's Daniel Flynn with another one. And all of a sudden this whole game has turned around.
He's in form for it now, Daniel O'Flynn, isn't he?
I wonder is there something wrong with Mark since he went down, because Danny's after taking over the game totally. You know, it's what, 4 points now, is it?
4 point game.
You know, it's Charleville's game now.
3 point game.
3 point game now. It's been a fierce 5 minutes there, and even back to that goal, Darragh Fitz actually mishit the ball. He should have passed it to Danny O'Flynn, and they were nearly giving out to him, and then it just bobbled in. It's not great to see, but hopefully the keeper makes up for it.
1-4 already for Charleville in the second half, just 1 point for Father O'Neill's.
Yeah, and it's all in 5 minutes.
It
really,
is, yeah. And as you say, running like the O'Neill's mentors are into Mark O'Keefe. You know, whether he's carrying that injury from the head injury he got, but since in the start of the second half, Daniel Flynn has got 3 scores, and they've been 3 crucial scores. So Mark O'Keefe will have to get an awful lot tighter on his man here.
Casey away. Just wouldn't quite stick for O'Brien. Here's O'Keefe. Charleville first to everything at the moment.
Jack O'Callaghan's got an awful lot of ball since the start of the second half. He's been on.
Lovely pass from O'Callaghan. And how have they given him that much space, Daniel O'Flynn? They have, and he's taken advantage. 5 for him now, and it's a 2 point game.
And that's the thing, is the centre back now, he's dropping off the centre back in around the 65-yard line, and the lads are obviously targeting him in there. And does Mark O'Keefe drop back, protect his full back line with this wind, or does he press out on his man? And he's opted for the start of the second half to drop back, and Danny's taken over the game.
Yeah, even at this stage, you can even see Declan Dalton has come over, and he's talking to the sideline about he's inside full forward and there's no ball coming in. Maybe he'd be better off to come
Oh,
up
that's
the
a
field.
nice turn by Andrew Cagney. 2 goals last week, looks to add one now. He'll settle for a point.
Yeah, he's dangerous when the ball gets in there. He's a goal getter. Tap that one over. I suppose every score now, is another dagger to Father O'Neill's. They have serious momentum, and Father O'Neill's are probably wishing for the water break now.
Yeah, in 8 minutes, like that whole game, the whole game has turned around. So you'd have to say at this stage now, Charleville would be the bookies' favourites at this stage to go on to win the game. But here's a chance for Liam O'Driscoll.
O'Driscoll has Paddy McMahon running in front. They need something. They've got a free man in there. It's Billy Dunn. Billy Dunn!
Brilliant.
Oh, brilliant goal. Brilliant goal. Made by Liam O'Driscoll. Very unselfishly went through. Yeah. And a great pass across to Billy Dunn, and no better man to finish.
Yeah, 3 or 4 great balls there. A lot of fellas would have tapped that over, but they knew they had a man over when they broke the line, and worked it very well.
What is it about Father O'Neill's and belters in the wind? They had a fantastic AIB All-Ireland club final against Tullerone earlier in the year. Tullerone winning with the last puck. That's a good score from Darragh Fitzgibbon again.
Yeah, but they're goal getters. There's obviously something in that for the last few years that they actually work it. They must do an awful lot of working in training and stuff like that. But they're always getting 2, 3, 4 goals a game, and they've 2 already now. That was great response by Darragh Fitz.
Great response by Charleville, turning around and Fitzy off his right hand from the sideline. Great score over the bar. So they needed that, but it's in the melting pot now, Oisin. It's all to play for.
Mark O'Keefe is way too far off again.
Remember, extra time and penalties if required. Did you ever think you'd hear that sentence in relation to a hurling game?
Especially
and penalties.
And in Porky Keith.
Oh my God, yeah. That's very true. Well, there has been a soccer match held here, so anything is possible in life. Would have been a World Cup match held here had we got the Rugby World Cup. That's a good take from James O'Brien. And it's a fine stadium, by the way. Here's Mellerick. And it's a free in to Charleville.
Yeah, probably got the ball a bit there, but got the hurley as well and looked a bit wild, so he's probably always going to get the decision.
Fitzgibbon taking his time over this one. What an amazing half so far for Daniel O'Flynn. 5 points for him so far, 4 of them in the second half.
Yeah, O'Neill's have just made a switch now. Mark O'Keefe has gone out to midfield. They've brought in number 20.
O'Brien. James O'Brien, sorry, he's 20 for Charleville.
Podgy Buckley has come on and has gone in at centre back to mark Daniel Flynn. Mark O'Keefe has gone out to midfield. Fitzy has missed it.
Well, that's a poor miss by his standards, even in these conditions. Ball breaks kindly for Charleville. Couldn't quite hang on to it, Sean O'Connor. Andrew Cagney. James O'Brien tries to shovel it up into the hand and does.
Dara Fitz is inside in the square, all in the zone if he could find him.
It's drifted in. Sloan catches that well, and he needed that moment, didn't he, Colin Sloan? Because that was the first kind of dropping ball he had to deal with since that goal. Might have to deal with something else here. Fitzgibbon gets the free.
No. Joe. You couldn't see a free there. Dara was struggling.
I thought that was harsh.
Very
free.
harsh under the
Tom Malrick has done really well to go in. He's man-marked Dara Fitzgibbon. Not sure if Fitzy's 100%. He got a belt early on there with Mark O'Keefe in that belt, and they've put him in full forward maybe just to give him a break for a couple of minutes. But again, if he's very dangerous inside there, if he gets a 1-on-1 inside there, he can certainly get some scores for you. So chance to make up for the last one and bring Charleville within 2 points.
Very noticeable that the Charleville half back line is after taking over now as well. There's nothing coming from the Father Neil's puck outs. Is there much plans there to give it short or something like that? But they'd want to come up with something, because that Charleville half back line have taken over now in the first 10 minutes of the second half.
Yeah, O'Neill's have brought Dickie Dalton out to right half hour now to try get some ball, to get him under some ball.
Dalton goes up for it. He doesn't get it. His teammate Kevin O'Sullivan does. O'Sullivan is dizzy from all the turning he's doing there. It's turned over by Charleville. Fitzgibbon.
Great take.
That's really well taken. He's going to have a gallop at Mellerick here. Fitzgibbon guides it home.
Great take and good move to put him in there now with the ball coming in so much. And
Tom Mellerick as well would not be well known as a full back, or he's a wing back and a midfielder. He's a 1-on-1 inside with Dara Fitz. He wouldn't be very comfortable inside there, and if Fitz gets the right ball here, Oisin, he could do a lot of damage.
Yeah, they're trying to man-mark 2 men now with Danny O'Flynn and Dara Fitz, which is very tough. Great catch.
Fantastic catch. Well done, Rob Cullinan. That's surely a free. It looked to me like Billy Dunn was tugged back, but they play advantage. It's a good advantage. He's got Hankert beside him. Goes himself. Keeper does well. Hankert guides it in.
Yeah. Did very well. Billy Dunn took the man on. Every time they get the ball in there, they take the man on, see what happens. And a great goal, I think, was Hankert got in the end.
Father O'Neill's have a man down. Mike Mellerick, James O'Brien chasing him. Rob Cullinan is down still for Father O'Neill's. That would be a huge loss. Let's hope he's okay. Daniel O'Flynn, who's caught fire in the second half. Jack O'Callaghan. Gavin Kelleher. Kelleher from the bunker. Doesn't find the green.
Again, you look inside, Dara Fitzgibbon on top of the square, all on his own, on a 1-to-1 inside there. But in the second half, I think Father Neils have come up the field 3 times and they've got 2 goals in the point. The goals are crucial,
Yeah, and that's them, and they probably need him to keep him in the game. It's a big injury there now, Rob going down, because he's been fairly handy for the start of the game. But that's the thing in the back line. You said there's a load of room in front of Dara Fitz. With Danny O'Flynn causing so much trouble outside, you just have to follow him. You have no choice, and then that creates a vacuum unless they bring someone back. And actually, it's amazing they haven't brought someone back yet. They just brought him back there now.
I think at this stage now, they have at this stage looked at putting somebody back in behind Danny O'Flynn there. They're centre forward. Gavin Keller has come back, but maybe that's only a temporary thing.
Yeah, he's moving out again.
We didn't get a chance to talk about that third Father O'Neill's goal there. The goalkeeper Cian Collins made a good save from Dunn's strike. Hankert followed up. Should he turned it around the post and given away a 65, or was there much
it was a chance, yeah, it was probably a chance. Hankert's a big man when he's coming in on top of you, so he just flicked it into the net. Colin will, after his save in the first half, would be disappointed with the goal.
McMahon aiming it over towards Liam O'Driscoll. He's being held up by Michael O'Flynn, and Michael O'Flynn did fantastically well there, the former captain.
I said Gavin Keller, yes, actually Padraig McMahon has gone back centre back, has maybe not gone back in a bit of a sweeper that they've now realised maybe they need to kind of just maybe shore it up a small bit.
And at the water break, is it too late?
And at the water break now at this stage, if it's
1 plays 17 when you make the conversion.
Yeah, well, you know what, Father Neils mightn't be too unhappy there, because they was looking around 5-6 minutes ago there where they were a point down. I don't know, did they get the level? I think they were
I don't think it got to level. No, it didn't get to level.
No. But at that stage you would have put your house on Charleville, to win this. But those 2 goals, as George said, just brought them back into it, and they needed them, and said they'll be happier than they were obviously 5 minutes ago, but they still have a uphill value. Still have to fancy Charleville here with 15 minutes left.
It got to a 1-point game twice, but Charleville have never got level or never got their noses in front. But at this stage, Ger, who are you fancying? Who's got the momentum?
Yeah, again, it's all to play for. The Charleville have scored 1-9 in that quarter. O'Neill's 2 goals and a point. And goals can win matches. I think if they get enough ball into Fitzy, if they can create a 1-to-1 opportunity inside there, I think he can still do damage. But these two teams have been well known to go down to the wire and even go to extra time. So hard one to call.
It is a very hard one to call, and actually both times that Charleville got to within a point, Father O'Neill's stepped up and got a goal.
Yeah, great response, and when Father O'Neill's got the goal, then Darragh Fitz came down and so it's great mentality of both teams. It's been very good hurling for the conditions we have today. Very impressive.
Charleville went on a 6-score in a row run there early in the second half, but Father O'Neill's, much to their credit and showing their experience, hung on in there. Gentlemen, in a few minutes time I'll be asking you for your Co-op Superstores player of the match, so you might start thinking about that now. You can debate it among yourselves, but there's still an awful lot of work to do on county final day in Cork in a hurling sense. Of course, last night with the Premier Intermediate Hurling Championship, Blarney beating Castle Lions, and I'm sure it was a good night in Blarney. The bonfires going and people celebrating in a socially distanced way. Paddy McMahon chasing after it. Paddy McMahon sending it down the wing. Where will the party be this evening? The outdoor party with the bonfires, will it be in Charleville or will it be around Ladies Bridge, Ballamacota? That's well picked up by Dennehy. Ball breaks. McMahon was thinking of chasing after it, he didn't. Charleville have it back. Good score, well taken. It's O'Brien, James O'Brien.
Yeah, and that's his third chance since he came on there, and that's his first conversion. Good score, runs straight at defenders when he gets the ball like that about James.
Sloan, fantastic catch. Down the line it goes, they're aiming towards Dunn. Goalkeeper kind of got caught in 2 minds there, but Meade is able to take it. And they do well to win the 65. Great work from Father O'Neill.
Yeah, he did. He slipped and he went out over the line. And every one of these scores gives Decky Dalton a chance now to convert into that win. It'll be a tough ask, but again, no better man at this stage to see if he can put it over the bar.
Yeah, and the great thing is a waste a bit of time as well. When, playing against the wind, he can take his time with this, get a score, and it's brilliant for him if they keep getting frees like that in 65s.
Definitely, Paddy McMahon going back centre back has kind of shouldered up a bit as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. Yeah. They needed to. They probably did it a bit late, really, to be honest. But you'd be thinking with the lead they had at half time, maybe that was the option. They brought Charleville brought Tim Haw on here now, and he's a dangerous player, good in the air, good man to take the score.
Kavanagh, who got a good point earlier in the game when Charleville desperately needed one. He's off now. He's been replaced by Tim Haw, as you say, Ronan. Daniel O'Flynn looking for his 6th point. It's going to drop instead. Might come in here for Haw, who's just off the bench. The sun is shining, but it's still very, very windy. Haw hits it across. O'Brien is trying to get there and does. Slips and bounces. O'Brien.
Great score.
Fantastic score.
Yeah,
fantastic
great score. Got the last with his right and that with his left, and he can do that. Very, very impressive. And unfortunately for us, he was very good last week as well, but very, very good there now since he came on.
2 in a row for James O'Brien.
Yeah, he's very good hurler. Played with Cork underage a couple of years ago. Kind of went off the scene for a bit. Has come back, but a very, very good corner forward.
The wind is picking up again. It's actually making it quite difficult to hear you two, even though you're not right beside me due to social distancing, but you're not far off. So I'll just assume if I can't hear you, you're saying those things. Kevin O'Sullivan's back to take the line ball. It's 21 points to 19 when you make the conversion.
Charleville brought Fitzy back out the field again, like they seem to be moving him around, trying to get him into the game. He's gone back in towards midfield.
Great touch.
Jack Buckley again has had a super game. Super game.
Fitzgibbon leaves it behind. Dalton tries a strike. Great block down by Jack O'Callaghan. Barry can't get it into the hand. Dalton throws his body in there. I think we'll have to go for a clash ball here. No, we won't. Stealing away is Cathal O'Carroll, looking for Haw, whose hurley is being held by the fullback. Haw gets the ball. Haw from a tight angle, but he's back to goal. That's a magnificent score.
Great score, but an acre of space inside there, and a good ball given in, and that's 2 balls now since he came on that he won, and great score there.
Now, as we have said, anytime the Charleville have got back to within 1 point, Father O'Neill's have followed with a goal.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a crucial part of the game at this stage. Can Charleville get back level and even take the initiative and can try get ahead in the game? They've outscored Father O'Neill's in the last in the first 20 minutes of the game, but sometimes when you come back from a lead like that, Oisín, you get so far, they're a point down, they need to get level and then even drive on to get ahead, and that'll be huge for their confidence.
Well, I heard a couple of Charleville supporters on the way in saying the wind would spoil the game. It certainly had an effect on it, Ronan, but it hasn't spoiled it. It's been a good contest.
No, it's been a good contest. A lot of good hurling there. I suppose it spoils, maybe the high scoring and stuff like that, but it's still fairly high. Like 117 is a good score, but it is obviously a game of two halves, as the cliche goes.
Has tripped on the way through and gets the free.
He's done very well. The two subs have done very well.
Yeah, he's been exceptional. He's come on, and again, as Ronan said, there's an amount of space inside her. Again, you'll have to question if you're bringing Polly McMahon back from centre forward, back to play sweeper. You've got to play a lot deeper than that. You've got to stop the supply of ball going into Tim Haw. And at this stage now, again, Charleville have got all the scores in the second half, bar the two goals and a point. But this is a chance now to put it back to put it level.
Yep, the first time they would be level since the very start. Fitzgibbon.
Next score is crucial now.
Next score again, but I still think, would they be better off? Would O'Neill's be better off to get Declan Dalton into the game again? He's gone out right half forward, but a lot of the play is not, they can't get the ball out that far. I think he'd be better off to put him in somewhere where he can have an influence on the game.
Father O'Neill's yet to score since the water break. Charleville have popped over 4. Decky Dalton, as we predicted, coming further out the field for the second half, but now he's making his way towards goal. Dalton tries to strike it, but he was smothered. It was a long road with no turn. Charleville steal away with it. They've won everything in the second half. O'Brien, he's had a wonderful time since coming in, James O'Brien. Hull this time doesn't have the beating of Sean O'Connor, but does hold him up. No free, says the referee. Now it is a free.
He eventually gave it.
You know what has been there now. Declan had the ball twice, and his hurling was maybe just maybe a little bit slow. Got blocked down twice, and we talk about Declan for Cork teams and stuff like that. He just needs to speed up his hurling maybe a small bit more, like to get to that level, because getting blocked down maybe at this level, you're gonna get blocked down in the senior inter-county when it comes along.
Owen Conway is in, one of the more experienced players, picking it up as Liam O'Driscoll. O'Driscoll bounces off a tackle, gets it inside. Thomas Mellerick falls the way of Charleville. Gentlemen, in about a minute or two, I'll ask you to name your man of the match, your Co-op Superstores man of the match. Daniel O'Flynn, it won't hold up for him.
You're putting us under pressure here, Oisín. 10 minutes to go. Like normally, the man of the match is we'll be looking at someone from the winning team, and this is very hard to call at this stage. Charleville have all the momentum going, but as I say, the next one, sometimes when psychologically when you come back and you get level, the next score is absolutely vital to put you ahead.
Kelleher. That carries. It's a good score from Gavin Kelleher.
It's all Charleville now. They have the momentum there, and to be fair, it's been like that for most of the second half. It's just those 2 goals have kept Father O'Neill's in it. They haven't scored, I'd say, for quite a while now.
And for the first time in the match, Charleville lead. Well, it doesn't matter how far you're behind, so long as you're ahead at the final whistle.
Yeah, all to play for. Coming down the stretch here now, a couple of minutes, 5 or 6, 7 minutes to go. All the momentum with Charleville. O'Neill's at this stage need to get a score. They put Dalton is back in full forward now at this stage, because they need a score. Because at this stage it looks like Charleville's if they can tack on another couple of scores, it's there. But again, Father O'Neill's have been involved in some great games over the years. They won't give up too easily.
Mike Mellerick guides it inside, looking for the equaliser, and it's over. Decky
That's
Dalton.
the difference when you get the ball in there. He will tack him over. Great strike again on his left.
Their first score since the water break. Remember, extra time and penalties if required. So I'll give you another 2 minutes to think about player of the match, lads. Fitzgibbon, he's basically in the stands by the time he finishes with that ball.
Father O'Neill substitution, number 7 Tyler has been replaced by number 17 John Mellerick.
Mark O'Keefe with the line ball. O'Keefe gives that plenty. Trying to chase after it is Jason Hankart, who scored a goal earlier in the half. Alan Dennehy held up by Hankart. Hankart does really well. Drifts it inside looking for Dalton. Goalkeeper anticipates and does very well.
Went down for the foul there, Joe. One of your ones.
He's done really well. He was under pressure. Dalton put him under pressure, but he did well to get it away.
22 points apiece when you make the conversion. About maybe 7 or 8 minutes left when you take injury time into account. Sean O'Connor. Father O'Neill's, who were beaten by the last puck of the game in the All-Ireland final earlier in the year. McMahon.
Great ball.
Looked to me like Dalton was being pulled there by Meade. The referee says it's okay.
Just overhit that ball. It was a chance. He was trying to find Dickie Dalton, who was inside on a one-to-one with Jack Meade, but just overhit it.
Meade held them up well.
The lead score is the lead score for Charleville. Can they get it?
Take.
What a catch that is from Fitzgibbon.
He has the
He's
free
got
as well.
advantage coming. He mightn't need it. Fitzgibbon puts
great
Charleville
start.
in front late in the game.
That's what
Gentlemen,
you
I
need
need
from
you
your
to
big
name your
players.
Co-op Superstores man of the match.
Well, we had a little chat there, but the two lads who stood out for us today are Danny O'Flynn and Buckley at centre back, so I'm happy with either one of them.
That means you have to decide. Your McMahon delivers long, trying to get under it is Dalton. Charleville just had the numbers back there. They lead by 1. It's a slender margin. Jack O'Callaghan. Hall goes after it, can't get it this time. O'Sullivan assessing his options. Had a man inside, but chose to go down the wing and put it out of play. Ger, who's the man of the match?
Difficult call, as Ronan said. There's some players for Charleville. If Charleville get to win this game, I think Jack Buckley has an outstanding game at centre back. Jack O'Callaghan has come into the game big time at centre field, really in the second half. Fitzy at times has sparkled, but for me, Danny O'Flynn has been the man with 5 points from play. He was the man that really turned it around for them.
I think the big thing with that is when they needed him at really
Correct.
at the time when they were struggling, he was the man to drag them back into the
Yeah.
game. And to be fair to him, he's brilliant. I think Jack Buckley was great throughout the game, great centre back play, very strong even when they were struggling as well. To be fair to him.
Even James O'Brien, you could make a case. James O'Brien has done really well as well, and Father
You
O'Neill's
can
team.
make lots of cases,
Yeah.
but I need a name. Who's the name?
We're going Danny O'Flynn.
Danny O'Flynn. Andrew Cagney. Sloan takes it.
And to be
This
fair,
one
there
might not
was
be over yet.
a lot of good performances
Sloan
from Father O'Neill's.
Getting away from Hall. Sloan stayed cool under pressure. It almost fell to the man of the match, O'Flynn. Sliding in Gavin Kelleher. James O'Brien keeps it in play but gives it away to Mike Mellerick. James O'Brien gets it again. That's going to drop. Sloan controls it with the stick. The board is about to go up. Connor Buckley, by the way, is being warmed up for Charleville. He'll be in soon. That's a great catch in the middle of the park by Hankard. They've got goals in them. Father O'Neill's at the moment, they'd settle for a point because there's just one between them. Mark O'Keefe for the equaliser. Mark O'Keefe hits it wide.
That's one of those 2 out of 10 shots there.
That's one of those, and you look again, Dalton inside on a 1-to-1, would he better off to get the ball into him, get it to Decky? Maybe he might be able to draw a free, but it's hard to imagine after 10 minutes, Oisin, that we'd have been talking about a Charleville man of the match, because Father O'Neill's were so much in control in that first 10 or 15 minutes with great performances from Liam O'Driscoll, Dalton. They were on top all over the pitch, and fair play to Charleville for coming back, and they've turned this game around. But as you say, O'Neill's have been in this position before, and they're not out of it yet.
There will be at least 3 minutes.
3 minutes. 3 minutes for Father O'Neill's to make their way to the top level of senior hurling. At the moment, the spot belongs to Charleville, but there's a few twists and turns yet, Ronan. You get a feeling.
Great hassling there by the Charleville forwards, and that's what we talked about there at half time. Very hard for a defender to come out with the ball, and especially at this time in the game when the legs are tired and stuff like that. So brilliant to Charleville to come into it. I think they made a sub there. They brought someone on with it.
Yeah, the subs have been very influential. Tim Hawes come on, and James O'Brien have been really influential in the second half.
Fitzgibbon. A goal would really seal it. It's Buckley. It bounces wide.
Oh, it was a great chance. He had got the ball. He turned it around, but seemed to lose control of it. That would have been a goal to put it out of sight for Charleville. But here's Hankard again on top of the wall, but he's been turned over.
It's O'Flynn. O'Flynn to make it a 2-point game.
Yeah, he's had a great goal.
O'Flynn. Well, he hasn't quite sealed it, but they've put down a deposit.
Very good player, and he's played with Charleville for a good few years now. Good warrior, and he showed his class today, to be fair to him. Great catch.
That's a fantastic catch. Cagney goes for it from a long way out.
He has
this
it.
to make it a 3-point game. Cagney puts it over. It looks like the Jim Forbes Cup is on its way to Charleville.
That's some turnaround. That's a great score again. Well worked out to the pitch to Cagney off his left hand turn to put it over the bar. 3 points ahead now with time nearly up.
And how appropriate it is, by the way, that the cup is named after Jim Forbes, the late great Jim Forbes, who gave so much to GAA in Cork. Here's O'Flynn. O'Flynn hitting it over towards James O'Brien. Father O'Neill's need a goal, but they've only got just over a minute to get it. Haw. They might need more if Haw can nail this. Haw. He didn't start the game, but I think he's just finished it with that point.
Yeah, massive contribution from the subs, as you said. You know, another point by Tim there. Great ball in by Danny O'Flynn, and they've really taken over this game.
Well, we will come back for a deeper chat on this game a little bit later. We're pretty much at full time. We're going to go up to Porky Rin for the football semi-final between Nemo and Duhallow. Ball falls the way of Billy Dunn. Goal! It's not quite done yet. One between them.
30 seconds to go. Ball came in and Billy Dunn again. The ace poacher won a great ball and turned and buried it in the back of the net. There's 30 seconds on the clock, but the referee he's letting it go, so O'Neill's are not gone yet.
Might get one more chance here.
Well, Billy Dunn got the first score in the game. I wonder, is it the last? There isn't long left. 25 plays, 26. Just doing the quick maths in my head to make sure it's all right. One between them.
They have it.
We thought they had it wrapped up, Charleville, but Father O'Neill's, well, they're a team that will give it everything. Owen Conway couldn't quite get it into the hand. It's run out of play there by Jack Barry. It'll be a line ball for Father O'Neill's. Whatever they do, they have to do it quickly.
They need to switch the play here.
They need to try Dick Dalton or Billy Dunn on this ball and give him a chance to maybe even draw free.
Is it going to go to red and green or red? It goes to red.
And a free.
Yes.
It's all over, and Charleville are the co-op superstores. Cork Senior A hurling champions. They have beaten Father O'Neill's 123 to 413. And Ronan Kern, you can't say they don't deserve it.
No, to be fair, but to be fair to either team, they both did very well. I suppose Charleville, I think it was that kind of 5 to 7, 8 minutes just after half time where they blitzed Father O'Neill's, Danny O'Flynn. And I suppose, unfortunately, the big change in point in the game was that goal that unfortunately went in from a long speculative ball.
Yep, Ger, final thoughts from you.
Brilliant second half from Charleville. Scored 118, and the goal said was unfortunate for the goalkeeper, but they scored 19 times in the second half to turn it around. Brilliant performance, great game, great goals, kept Father O'Neill's in the game. I suppose, considering the conditions, a great game of hurling, and fair play to Charleville and fair play to Father O'Neill's for giving us a great game, and well done to Charleville, and they're up senior next year.
Yeah, well, joy for Charleville, heartbreak for Father O'Neill's. It's been a long time coming for Charleville. Like Father O'Neill's, they've had a lot of success in recent years, but now they're at the top grade. A little bit later on, we'll be giving you a full review of this game to the Irish Examiner social media channels, but it's a very busy day in Cork. We've got 2 more live games to bring you today, including Castlehaven and St Finbarrs later on in the Bond Secure Senior Football semi-final. But right now it's time to cross over to Porky Rin for the first of the semi-finals. Nemo Rangers taking on Duhallow. For the moment, from Porky Queeve, it is goodbye. Okay. So we'll just continue, all right? Thank you very much, Des. You're watching a recording that we did a little bit earlier on from Porky Queeve. Father O'Neill's, unfortunately for them, beaten by Charleville in the Co-op Superstores Senior A hurling final, 123 to 413, the final score. Jerk Cunningham, it looked like it was going to be a struggle for Charleville in the second half so far. Were they behind? I think it was 111 to 5 points at half time, but in fairness, they played their way back into it, and Daniel Flynn must take an awful lot of credit because he scored something like 6 points in the game, and 5 of them came in a burst in the second half that really brought them back in.
Yeah, fantastic performance from Danny Flynn. I'm just looking back through my notes there. At the end of quarter one, Oisín, they had scored a point, and they finished and scored 123. So they got 122 in 45 minutes hurling. So that's really, they really turned it around. They looked to be out of sync, out of kilter in the first quarter. The wind was playing havoc with them. They were struggling to get the ball up. I know they had a few wides But I thought Jack Buckley in particular in that first quarter was immense to keep them in the game. Daniel Flynn, as you say, came into the second half. Mark O'Keefe looked to be carrying an injury, maybe had got a belt in the head, and that might have had a huge part to play. But again, a fair play to Charleville. They never gave up. They're huge momentum, and probably the difference slightly at the end that they were at this level for a year ahead of Father O'Neill's, and but fair play to Father O'Neill's. They got goals at vital times to keep in the game, but I don't think you can argue with a team that scored 24 times to win the game, and fair play to them.
Yeah, I'd say, to be fair to Charleville, a lot of people when they talk about Charleville, they talk about Dara Fitz, and if you hold Dara Fitz, you have a great chance of beating Charleville. But they showed today that Dara played well, but they got scores from all over the pitch. The subs who came on, Danny O'Flynn, Jack O'Callaghan, a great game mid. Jack Buckley centre back. They have a lot of good players, and they also lost Jack Doyle at the start of the game, who would have been a big blow to them. So they're a really good team, and they play good style of hurling, and they know what they're doing there on the road for a long time now.
Well, we're going to have to compete with the PA system, so you're going to have to shout Danny O'Flynn named as the man of the match. I think that's deserved, and we talked an awful lot about him already. But will Father O'Neill's feel that maybe this is one that they left behind?
Yeah, I suppose they will. They're going to look back at it and say a situation where they put themselves in a position. They were 1-11 to 5 points up at the end of quarter two. They were in a good position. We did say would have been better off to bring the man back straight away as a sweeper to bring it to hold the game. You needed to stop Charleville's momentum. You needed to stop Charleville getting into the game and getting the early scores. And I thought they took a long time before they brought Paddy McMahon back. But again, only for the second half. It's just such a difficult day to get the ball up the field. But they got it up, and they got 3 great goals in the second half to keep them in the game. But I think when they go to look at it, they will look back. I think that first 10 minutes after half time, when the scores are racked up by Charleville, by Danny O'Flynn in particular, I think they will look back and say maybe they might, could we have done something different there at that stage to stop their momentum.
Speaking of goals, it was unfortunate for Colin Sloan, the goalkeeper. The bounce just took it away from him, and that happens. But that was a big boost for Charleville at the time. Yeah,
you see, I suppose they had just got on top, in the second half, got a few scores, and if they got a goal, then the momentum is really going to switch to Charleville. Very unfortunate for the keeper, but it is a really, really tough day for those kind of long balls into the goal. But it did change the game. But to be fair to Father O'Neill's, they fought back. They got 2 or 3 goals after that, and they fought to the death, and I think Charleville just deserved it, but it was a very good game, very close, 2 very good teams.
Well, as Tracy Kennedy, the chairperson of the county board, has just said, they served up an absolute cracker, these two, despite the conditions. It just goes to show that good hurlers can play in any condition.
Yeah, I think coming down today, I think the 2 best teams at senior A level were in the final. They were both unbeaten. They both had been on a run, as we said earlier, for the last 2 years. So a classic or a great game was in prospect. We thought the conditions might affect it, but fair play to both teams and to serving up a great game of hurling. Their commitment, their endeavour, their hooking, their work rate all over, and some great scores. And on a bad day for hurling with the wind can be sometimes very difficult. We got 24 scores for Charleville, and we got 17 for Father O'Neill's. So a great game, and fair play to Charleville, and just about deserved to win it.
It's so windy, it looks like our camera person is on a bouncy castle. I can assure you there's not much they can do. Raf is having to stretch out to try and keep it as steady as he can, but I don't think anyone can keep it steady in this kind of breeze. Ronan, final thoughts on this game, the Senior A game, before we move on and talk about Glen Rovers and Blackrock in the Premier final?
Yeah, I suppose the main thing with this game is see how these 2 teams, or these Charleville now, how they get on when it comes to Premier Senior, and I don't think they'll have any problem at that grade. They played very well last year. They're lucky to go down. Played well here. George says there was 2 best teams in it. I'd throw Cantork into that one as well. Now they're very unlucky last week, so I have to say that, I suppose. But they've good players all over the pitch, and they did deserve it. Maybe Father O'Neill's, as George said, maybe should have dropped the man back that bit earlier, and I might have saved them with such a big lead. Maybe it was the thing to do, and then work it out from there. But very tough, and can't complain. Charleville are a very good team.
Fair play to Tracy Kennedy, by the way, in her speech. She kind of took a break for a second to say everyone moved 2 metres apart, which, you know, you do sometimes have to remind people it's such a strange world that we live in. But we still have hurling, Ger, and we're glad to have it, and we need it. Let's talk about the Premier Senior Final between Glen Rovers and Blackrock, 2 giants of the city, but they haven't met in a final since 1978, which is a very strange quirk. I was surprised when I saw that stat.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable stat, really. 40 years ago since they played in a final, and it just goes to show the way the power of hurling in Cork has drifted away from the city clubs over the last number of years. And it's great to see the city clubs back. It's good. I think it's good for Cork hurling personally. We've a number of years we've had divisional sides we've been involved. The last 3 years in McKilly winning it, but I think it's great to see the city clubs back. And I think again, the two over the course of the competition, the 2 best teams I think have come through. They've been the form teams from day one. Did Glen put a marker down when they played here back in 8 or 9 weeks ago? They've been really good. Blackrock I think have been a really good all-round team. They mightn't have the stars that Glen Rovers have, but they've really worked really hard to come through. They've been very impressive. They've won 2 great games against Douglas, against UCC, and I think they come into this final with a great chance.
Ronan, the fact that Blackrock have not won it for a long time now, they have been in a recent final, I think 2017, but they haven't won it since 2002. Does that give the Glen some kind of advantage given their recent experiences and the fact that they're more familiar with finals in recent years and more familiar with winning finals in recent years?
Yeah, I suppose it might be a bit different this year, the whole format and how close it was that they both only played last week. Just remember, Blackrock were in the final 3 years ago, I think it was as well, and nearly could have snatched that one against McKilly in their first one. So they've won a few under 21 finals as well, so they're well experienced, and I don't think they'll fear this game at all. I think they're a really solid team all over, no real stars, but all hard workers, and they might have that little bit of extra grip between their teeth as well to win this one after losing one, where the Glen have to, maybe a few of the lads who won that are pushing on a bit as well, Rockies are a young team, young, fresh, and they'll be hard beaten today, I think.
Gentlemen, you'll have to excuse me if I'm asking what appear to be repeated questions if you've already addressed the point, because I'm struggling to hear you here. But what a day it is for Charleville, and they're entitled to be loud, and it's a long enough journey back to Charleville, which is on the border of Limerick, but it'll be a lot shorter this evening, and I'm sure the bonfires will warm them up a little bit later on. Last week the Glen weren't overly convincing against Erin's Own, but they had to wait a long time for that semi-final. Do you think that they were able to shake the rust off and that we'll get a far better performance from them this week, Ger?
Oh, I've no doubt, Oisín. Last week they hadn't played for 4 weeks. They came in, I think they were concerned about it themselves. They knew, history will tell you, not playing for 4 weeks is hard to do it. Went in as strong favourites as well, but fair play, Erin's Own put it up to them. Again, Erin's Own got the goals that really tested the Glen, but with 10 minutes to go, the Glen really turned it around, and I think they'll certainly benefit from having that game. But Blackrock have had 2 really good matches over the last number of weeks, and I think it has all the ingredients to be a great game. Hopefully the conditions won't spoil the match for us today.
Yeah. For Glen Rovers, do they need to get Hoggy more into it this week, Ronan? Because last week he was good and he nailed his frees, but from play, I won't say he struggled. The ball just didn't come his way an awful lot. Now when he got it, he did well, but maybe just didn't come to enough.
Yeah, I suppose he's a marked man as well. We got to remember that. When you think about when you're playing the Glen, your first thought is, right, what are we going to do with Hoggy? Who are we going to put on him? How are we going to mark him? Are we going to put a second man on him and stuff like that? But I think the Glen will need a big game out of Hoggy today. And when I mean a big game, I think they'll need 6 or 7 points out of it. I fancy Blackrock for this one, really, to be honest. I think they have a better balanced team, we're all around team, and they'll be that bit hungrier. They probably going away from Hoggy is small, but they probably need big games from the likes of Simon Kennefick and Conor Doris. Their scorers up there in the forward line. But it'll be a very, very close game, very tight. Obviously, the wind, as we said, is going to play a massive factor.
That's an interesting point, because you're both in management, right? So how much does the wind change the plans that you might have been working on over the last week preparing for this game? Because as we've seen in the Senior A final, it is a massive factor. It's a dominating factor.
Yeah, I think the big thing with the wind, it's very easy to say, you're playing against the wind, you throw back a sweeper, that's the first thought you have. But it plays an awful difference in puckouts, because you don't know down here until you come down here on the day which way the wind is blowing. Is going straight across the pitch, how strong it is, and you might have a few puckouts made out and stuff like that, or throughout the game, or you might be planning to play it short or long.
Do you look at the weather? Do you prepare for that?
You have to have a look at it, but how certain can you be? It's Ireland in the end of the day, So you can't really judge that until you come down here, and you don't want to be changing too much on the day of a game, because fellas are nervous. They have their own things to worry about. Like, so it does play a massive factor in how you adapt to it.
Ger, for the goalkeepers, how much does it change their plan and their kind of thought process on the puck outs when in the first half they're either going to be with or against the winds, and in the second half obviously the opposite direction?
Yeah, I think both teams, I suppose traditionally over what we've seen in the last number of weeks, they both like to go long. They're not teams that like to play it short and work it out. They're very direct. They play it long. Both Cathal Licking and Gavin Connolly like to puck the ball long. So again, I don't think it'll change too much for either side. They will both puck the ball as far, to hit it long and have a contest down the field. And as Ronan said, Blackrock are quite a big physical side, and certainly their half forward line under the puckouts are very good ball winners. But I don't think it'll change hugely for the two teams involved, because they are quite direct.
For Blackrock, last week against UCC they were pushed all the way. Is there a danger of fatigue, or can you argue that actually it gives them momentum? What way do you look at it, Ronan?
Well, I think the big thing for Blackrock is they have a very strong panel. They have 4 or 5 fellas that can come into that team that won't weaken it at all. You see, the last day I don't think they started John Cashman and Ty Deasy. Be very interesting to see if they start Ty now, especially today, like, because he came on, got 4 or 5 great scores, and is very, very good player. But they have that strength and depth, like, yet they can kind of change it around, like, and maybe take fellas off with 20 minutes to go. The Glen, I think, will be relying on similar players than the last day. It'll be interesting if they play Mark Dooley now in the half forward line to win a bit of ball and so on. Like, but I don't think the extra time will bother Blackrock that much. They're a young team, they're eager, and they'll forget about that when the ball is thrown in.
Prediction time, gentlemen. Ger, I'll go with you.
Very difficult. I think the conditions obviously will have an impact in the game. We'll go. I've been impressed with Blackrock all through the year. I think they've won some really good games. They won a great game against Douglas. At times last week against UCC, it looked as if it was gone from them. Glen Rovers, as I said, put a marker down very early on. They're a good side. They're underrated. They play very well for each other. I think they have good defenders. Who are probably again, mightn't have the names that we'd have known in the past, but a good side, good all-round side. Rely on Hoggy to get a lot of their scores. If the Blackrock can hold Hoggy to a reasonable amount of scores, I give Blackrock a great chance, and I slightly favour them today.
Ronan?
Yeah, I've kind of thought Blackrock are the strongest team in it from the start of the year, really, and they haven't done anything to suggest that they weren't. They've been good for the last few years. They won the league, I think it was last year. Maybe got caught in the championship. Newtown lads won't like me saying that last year. Tim O'Mahony went crazy for around 10 minutes there, got a few goals, but they're a really solid team, and I think by heartbeat I think Blackrock will win today.
And once again, I don't think we can say it enough, the wind will be such a dominating factor in that game. Right, well, it's been a really entertaining Premier Senior Hurling Championship so far. We had a good championship in Senior A as well. We on the Irish Examiner really enjoyed bringing it to you, and we hope that you have enjoyed it in the Senior A. Well, the Jim Forbes Cup is on its way to Charleville. They've beaten Father O'Neill's after a really high-scoring match, a very entertaining match it was as well. And regards the Co-op Premier Senior title, we're not sure where that's going yet, Blackrock or Glen Rovers. Either way, it has to end today. We could have extra time and penalties. And you'll need to bring a warm jacket if you're here for this game, because it's incredibly cold and incredibly windy. Lots of action still to come here on the Irish Examiner. Of course, we've already brought you 2 games today in hurling and football. A third one coming up later on. Castlehaven against the Bars in the football. Lads, you'll be no doubt watching and cheering on.
We'll be glued to that.
You'll be absolutely glued to that, and that'll be a good game in the Bon Secures Senior Football Championship semi-final. From Porky Queeve, for now, it is goodbye and thank you, and congratulations to Charleville, who have won the Co-op Superstores Senior A title. The Premier yet to be decided between Glen Rovers and Blackrock, but you'll be able to get the detail of that on the Irish Examiner, both print and online. You'll be able to read all about it, get the detail, get the analysis, get all the reaction, and hopefully it'll be a good game to look back on. That's it for now.